Welcome to National Arts. I'm Mike Baker. On this program, we're going to visit with Robert Goulet and find out how at the tender age of 60, he's still entertaining audiences in his own inimitable way. But first, in 1990, John Guare's play 6 Degrees of Separation opened at Lincoln Center and then went on to win acclaim on Broadway, London's West End, and its national tour. This modern-day tale of upper-middle-class life tells the story of a New York couple who opened their home to a young man who claims to be a friend of their children and the son of Sidney Poitier. As with many successful stage plays, 6 Degrees of Separation went on to become a film. In the leading role of Wisa Kittredge is Academy Award nominee Stockard, who recreates the role she played on Broadway.
I read somewhere that everybody on this planet is separated by only 6 other people. 6 degrees of separation. The President of the United States, or gondolier in Venice, just fill in the names.
Hello.
How everyone is a new door, opening into other worlds. These aren't just big names, it's anyone.
Hello.
A native in a rainforest of Tierra del Fuego and an Eskimo. I am bound, you are bound. Everyone on this planet by a trail of 6 people.
Hello.
6 degrees of separation between us and everyone else on this planet.
Not many actresses get an opportunity to follow a role from stage all the way to film.
No.
And so this is kind of full cycle for you in a way.
Yes, it's also a great debt of gratitude to John Guare and Fred Skepsi, who is the people who said, no, we want her to do it, against whatever opposition I'll never know, but maybe there was none and maybe there was a lot, but they held their ground. But you're right, it is unusual. Yeah. And I'm eternally grateful to them.
One of the disadvantages of stage is you can't step out of your character and watch yourself.
That's right.
I mean, and it's regrettable in a way. And many times too, when you translate a stage production on film, you might think it's overblown, or maybe you've done a little too much here, or a little too little here. I mean, You're never really happy, and it's different every night. Were you surprised when you saw the film version in any way?
Not really, because Fred Skepsi and I had talked so much about the task of transferring stuff to film and the tone of different sections. And I think if I had a director who was less acute than he was, I might have been very nervous about that. But we just had this direct line with each other. Whether it was too much, too little. I said, how about this? And that's was his main, main concern in doing it, was the whole. This is his baby, his piece. He wanted to get the right thing in the right place, not just for me, but for everybody. So, I had a great advantage in working with somebody who had this passion and this incredible sense of detail. So he really, so I would see it. And I remember when I was looping it, I saw sections and I'd say, oh, that's, good. I remember, because you see a movie you're in, it's like looking at a photo album, because you don't really, still cannot experience the movie the way someone just going to see it will, because you think, oh, I remember that day. Oh, that was the day after Donald got sick, and then he was fragile. He looks pretty good. I mean, and the scene's gone. So, but when I was looping it, I remember that section. I mean, I could put my mind back to what we discussed literally before the cameras roll, because it would come back. And I said, oh, right, I'm so glad he picked that one. I'm glad he picked that kind of stuff. And so, in a way, I still haven't I haven't experienced what I have done, because, I'm from a different end of it.
Middle of the night, we heard somebody screaming, burglar, burglar! We came out in the hall. Paul is chasing this naked blonde thief down the corridor. Blonde thief runs out, the alarms go off, and the kid saved our lives.
That was no burglar.
You had another house guest.
We feel so guilty.
Did you give Paul any money?
$25 till his father arrived?
We told them our story.
Oh.
Stockard, one of the things that I noticed about 6 Degrees of Separation is it employs flashback in a way that I've never seen it before. Every time it reoccurs, it's in a different location, so we get this kaleidoscopic world of energized motion. It's rather unique.
Yeah, it is. In the movie, in the play, if you've seen the play, the 2 central characters, part I play and Donald Sutherland plays in the movie, talk to the audience, they tell them, they narrate, they comment, and so in the movie you really can't do that. So what they did was, it's like, you know, by solving a problem, I think they yielded something good and very cinematic, was you have them telling the story to people in their life, but since their social life is so much part of their business life and so much part of the world of this movie, New York today, it's like people telling stories, I mean, dining out, quite literally, on a story, which of course is tied in with the whole notion of anecdote and how we do use our experience sometimes and into furthering ourselves in society and business things by telling stories, by telling anecdotes. So I thought that was a very fortuitous little problem-solving thing here.
One of the nice things is that some of the more scenic aspects of Manhattan become one of the characters too, because you shot on something like 40 locations.
Yes, exactly. It was something we could do in film, we couldn't do on stage. Again, to solve a problem, it gave this big benefit of, you know, seeing highs and lows of Manhattan, which is so much a part of the story, because what this young man wants to, what he comes from, what he wants to break into, what New York and a lot of urban situations are about. But you know, every city has its own spirit, and and I really was happy that we shot this in New York, because not that New York is better, God knows, than any other city, and I was born there, but it does have its own weird mix of stuff, which is a lot of it is visual.
It allowed you, the film version, to breathe a little more, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
And to do what you do best, which is really facially as well as physically act.
Well, my mother told me, this was not a compliment when I was a little girl, that everything you think shows on your face. And I guess I've turned it to some good end, but it's true. So I could, when I figured that out, I could sit back and just think stuff, and it would happen. Whereas in the play, I had to sort of literally tell the story, move the play along with my husband and myself in it. So I was really happy to kind of approach the same material in a different way.
One of the most interesting symbols in the movie, symbols in the movie, which can be taken really on your character level, but can really be used to exemplify the entire film, is the Kandinsky painting.
Oh, yes.
How on one side you have chaos, on the other side you have order. That exemplifies your lifestyle. On the one hand, the art speculator making the deal, there's this chaos, then all of a sudden the sale's made, and for a brief period of time there's a little bit of peace in your life.
Yes, our tempest settled into showers, and life was manageable. I think we all in this world, this modern world, certainly with chaos banging on the door constantly, whether it's crime or whether it's bankruptcy or SNLs, you know, we want to make our little nests of order, and that's a very human kind of situation. But you know, at some point you have to open the door and let in something fresh. Otherwise, you're living a tedious life. So it's always about that balance between the two.
The painting also.
We were just about to say this is a comedy as well. The last bit's sort of serious.
But I mean, it gives you cause for thought. The painting too is interesting because it has a more maudlin side to it, and then it has a more hopeful side to it, which kind of, in a way, also exemplifies New York City. It has the darker, seedier element that you're kind of walk through by virtue of Paul.
I think, you know, any city
and then the upbeat
in the world
part,
today has
frequent,
that. Yeah. I mean, I do think this is about New York because we like being specific, but you know, for better or worse, there are no little utopias in the world that we live in. And we may like to, you know, live behind these chain gate communities and everything, but even there, you have to deal with the world the way it is.
They made you destroy the painting after the film.
Yes, I think that has happened yet. Because there's this law about you have to reproduce it stroke by stroke. I don't know. It's some very complex law.
One thing in particular, the name dropping. We kind of make fun of the upper crust in society by virtue of Paul's name dropping and how we seize that moment whenever it comes. And it doesn't matter how high we are in the hierarchy of life. If we have a chance to meet someone just a little bigger than we are, you know, it can be enticing.
Yes, I think that he definitely is, Paul's character is definitely intrigued by, you know, this. I don't think that the name of Sidney Poitier to them is, I think they have deep admiration for Sidney Poitier, but these are people that don't have to name drop. They're supposed to, I mean, they move in these circles, and this particular couple move in very, very high circles of power, you know, but they could be turned upon if something falls through. I mean, if this Cezanne doesn't, you know, they haven't got a fallback position here. So that's very specific to their, I mean, Paul may not know that, but so when they confide in him, this is a very important night, you know, because I got to make this deal. Of course he gets it instantly, and ironically, he helps him out.
I don't want to lose our life here. I don't want all the debt to pile up and crush us.
It won't. We're safe.
For a while. We almost lost it, we. If I hadn't gotten this money, I would have lost the Cézanne. It would have gone. I had nowhere to find it.
Why don't you tell me how much these things mean? You wait until the last minute.
I don't want to worry you.
Don't worry me. I'm your partner.
There is a God.
And his name is?
Jeffrey.
Sidney.
I've noticed that you've done a number of Grier's things, and I couldn't help but notice that there's always this transformation in his women, that there's some realization, and he writes very good characters for women.
He really does. In this, day and age, and I've done 4 pieces of his, but there's a whole Lydie Breeze and series, and these very complex female characters. It's wonderful. And he consciously, when we were doing the play, years and years, a million years ago, he consciously he said to me, I hope people are ready for a woman who is not of a certain age, who's got to be around 50, who is, and got these 3 kids, 2 grown, and who is not a sort of virago, and not a neurotic, and she's not all strung out in drugs, and she's not, a witch. With a B, and all of that. And he wrote this woman who is attractive, and she's funny, and you like her, and she's sexy in her own sensuous ways, and we're all very grateful because, it doesn't come along every day.
The fact that you gravitated more toward stage than film initially and throughout your career, did that just simply have something to do with the New York venue you grew up in?
No, I have to confess that about 10 years ago, I had a television series that folded, and I realized that I was sort of being known for work that I wasn't completely happy in, and people said, oh, she's just a comedian and all that stuff. And I'm not apologizing for it or putting it down, but there was a window was open in my life, and I had to go through it. And I did, and I went back to New York, and I started working on stage, and I realized I was accurate about my perception of my career, because people back there were sort of saying, oh, she's that girl from Grease, And I don't think there's anything wrong with being the girl from Grease, but, so I just started going back to my roots of acting on stage, and I still act on films and all, but when you act in a play, it takes up a lot of time if it's a success. So. But now I'm hoping that I can do more stuff on film again.
Just in the last 18 months or so, I've noticed this rise in the dramatic sense of Broadway, and how people are beginning to maybe take a little bit more chances on a drama. This could be good for you.
Well, I've been lucky, the material I've done on stage, it would be wonderful. And actually, I've done some stuff on film, television film especially, that I've been very happy about.
Drama desks. You've got it all.
Well, yeah, so life's pretty good. So if it could go on the way it is, and I'm not complaining.
Will you help me?
I will help you. But first, you have to go to the police. You have to go to jail.
And will you send me books and Polaroids of you and cassettes and letters?
I'll go to the police.
Will you take me?
Give the name of the detective to see.
I'll be treated with care if you take me to the police. If they don't know you're special, they kill you.
I will deliver you to them with kindness and affection.